One of the themes that we're looking at for our film here is the recent global economic turndown and how Asheville has been specifically affected by it. So how have you seen Asheville's budget and I guess how the city is acting over the last 2 years as this has unfolded?
It's affected us a lot. As chair of the finance committee, we go through a budget cycle it starts pretty much in January, and then in July or June we adopt our budget that goes in effect July 1st. And the city has an annual budget of roughly about $100 million. About 60% of that comes from property taxes, and then about 40% comes from sales taxes and revenues that come in from the state and from the county. As people spend less money, as the tourism dollars drop, as hotel occupancies go down, so do those revenue figures. And so we saw about a $5 million drop last year in revenues. Those have continued into this year. So we've had to be very conservative when it comes to how we're spending our funds. We have a big staff.
How would you think then, as an extension of our community into our economy, how does art fit into Asheville's revenues or contributes?
Well, apparently for every dollar that is spent by the arts-based organizations like NC Stage, the Arts Council, the art galleries, and these things, about $3 is returned to the local economy through restaurants, local purchases, sales tax, all those kind of things. So it's a great revenue. So if we invest in local arts businesses and help them do well and reinvest in the community, then we can triple the return on that dollar. So it's a pretty good thing, actually.
Now, as a thing. Well, that's great. One of the things that I noticed when I first came to Asheville, I came to school here, I guess 4 years ago, was the Keep Asheville Weird bumper stickers. And what we're trying to do is get a working definition of what that weird side of Asheville is, and it's very hard to nail down. What do you think? How do you think we can describe it?
I don't know. I love weird Asheville. It's neat to walk downtown from the Civic Center to, say, Barley's, and you go by. I got a friend named Dan, and there's the old J.C. Penney's building. There's a little area that kind of sets back, and musicians are playing in there. Sometimes neat things, sometimes not so neat. You go a little further, and there might be a couple of folks sitting there with their dogs playing bongos, and the drum circle's obviously phenomenal to go experience that. Anyone who hasn't experienced that on a Friday night needs to. It's just, some people don't like it. I think it's great.
And that'll help a lot.
Well, do you think the excesses of our really large growth that we've had in the last 10 years, and then kind of ending with our housing issues, do you think that could signal a change in the way people think about their general lifestyle?
So give me more to go on.
Well, almost I was really interested by the idea of switching away and not purchasing from Lowe's necessarily, but I would prefer to have, I imagine a handcrafted sink will cost more, but it has a different character to it, and it kind of belays a different level of thinking about what you want.
Hopefully what's going to happen with this economic downturn is people are going to assess quality over quantity. Is that what we're talking about, really?
Yeah.
Can I have more things, or do I have better things? And where I make my investment, maybe I don't have a million things, but the things I have are better because they're made locally. They have some kind of quality in them, and I see that in my own life that I'm not buying as many things, but when I do buy something, I want it to be an item that lasts. Now, I happen to think that that's got to have really great impact overall over time. I think we all follow the lead of the whole federal and global economic forecasting, and we forecast on these models that say more, or else we're dying. Our economic picture is tanked. It's really not a foundation for a healthy society. Cancer increases the gross national product. Illness and disease increases gross national product. So when are we going to stop using that increase of those kind of numbers as the model of whether we're being a good society or not? We got to just look at what that's built on. So, that fundamentally will have to be some of the questions we ask ourselves. In Asheville, I think we have a pretty good standard of living a lot of times because we have good quality of life. There's many other factors besides money that affect quality of life. And Asheville is a great example of showing what those factors are. People come here because they love how happy we all are and how much we're having a great time.
Yeah.
That's priceless, but that doesn't register on the gross national product. So if maybe what the example becomes of Asheville is what are other qualities, what are the good community pieces that we have that other people can replicate? And maybe it's just being kind to each other. Maybe it's just having a beautiful environment around us, or knowing how to take advantage of when we got a beautiful day. And listening to good music that's free on the street, and eating good local food. I mean, these are the kind of things that I think Asheville can have a big impact on the world, because we're pretty great.
I'll give you the nice super catch-all end of the interview question on when you look down the road to, let's say, 15, 20, 30 years from now, which is, I guess, what you're looking with your children, what do you see when you think about that direction?
Well, what I hope I see is a town similar to Asheville today in the creative cultural mix we have, but stronger in the central business district. I hope we have a better business district that offers more jobs. I don't know how government can do it, but it would be great to see much more condensed housing down in that central business district, and a river district that's thriving. If you go to places in Texas and Tennessee and these towns that have river districts with just businesses and homes and shops, and I went to Savannah, Georgia, what they have down there. It's just beautiful, and I hope Asheville's a town that has not become a Boulder, Colorado, or places that are too expensive for a lot of folks to afford to live. And I think there's room, and I think there's desire with the leaders to keep that good balance and mix out there. And I hope it's a place where my son's got a job down on the river at some cool business, or maybe he's working here, I don't know. Mm-hmm. And if he wants to ride his bike to work, and I hope our public infrastructure is strong and the city is not in financial distress like we are today. So I hope our leaders can really try to work together. It's a tough job. We have 7 of us that kind of give our city manager direction. So come together and keep checks and balances in place, and always get that watchful eye on the dollar, so that we're not spending our future savings accounts. The good thing about the city is we don't have a deficit. Unlike the federal government, we have a balanced budget every year. We don't have any debt deficit toward our budget. So that's a good lesson that more of America needs to take. So I'm just looking forward to hopefully being here and being a part of it and watching it, and see where it goes.
Long time.
Yeah, it's interesting. Mm-hmm. Well, do you have any other thoughts on anything we've been talking about?
Well, I just think we do live in a great community, and the thing you have to realize about a community is like anything else. It's an evolving being. So there's going to be some things that are good, some things are bad. 70,000 people live together in relative harmony. I mean, doesn't mean bad things don't happen. It doesn't mean accidents don't happen. It doesn't mean bad choices aren't made. But that's no different from human lives. And at the end of the day, though, I think the heart of this community is really strong. And as long as we focus on that and don't chew off one finger when we don't like it, or one group because we don't like it, just recognize we are together in all of it. And I think that's the core of a good community. I think that's what's going to make us survive most anything. Yeah.
More community?
More community, yeah.
More community. All right. Well, thank you so much for
You're welcome. Thank you.
Interview with me. Thank you.
Bye.